Hello and welcome back to Aftermatch Aftermath. We're finally back off the break with the Community Shield. 1-1 draw and
against
bit of
Arsenal.
A heartbreaking defeat at the end there in penalties.
Yeah.
Start off with just everyone's first thoughts on the game.
Craig, do you want
Jake.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Go on.
I want to start this off by saying I don't think we're on form. I think personally the lack of break has caused a lot of tired legs to be played over and over again. So a lot of the team are getting a bit fed up and aren't playing to their best ability. Saying that though, I think Arsenal have done just about what they should have done, like any other team should have done, and exploited that weakness. And I will say fair play to them. If it was the other way around, I'd be rewarding whoever, our player was that exploited the weaknesses of the other team. So it's only right that I do the same about them.
Craig?
I'd say, based off watching, I didn't see the match, but I watched Klopp's pre-match press conference the other day. Was it yesterday? And based off what he said about who he's expected to play, the team I saw that went out, I mean, granted, it was as strong as he could, but there was a lot of big names missing, and especially I feel like the bench really lacked a lot of those names. And so I guess it's disappointing, but as a lot of people say, I mean, I guess it's ultimately a glorified friendly. I would have liked to have made amends after last year, and then to lose on penalties again is a bit gutting, but it is what it is. Yeah, could have been better. From what I've seen and heard, didn't seem to be the greatest of Liverpool performances, but hopefully in a couple of weeks' time they'll be better off.
Yeah. So if we start with that lineup then, it was a fairly strong lineup, but a few changes.
As strong as they could have, but
yeah,
there was I'd say, I think, the first thing I noticed when I first saw the lineup, and I was like, oh no, where's Trent? And I was just like, and I feel like from what I've heard from the match and what I've read about it, I feel like Trent was a huge miss. And unfortunately, I said, like, Neco, again, he came into the team later on in the season to sort of like play a backup right back role, and he's been very hit and miss. But he's a clear talent. I don't want to come down on him. He's a good player. I know he had one really, really bad match that I think I slated him for maybe a month or so ago. And unfortunately, this did not seem to be a good game for him. Granted, he was up against Aubameyang?
Yeah.
Yep, Aubameyang.
He was up against Aubameyang, who I think is probably one of the best strikers in the league. So, I mean, I feel like that's a tough ask for him. But, I really wish it was Trent instead of him. Other than that, I feel like I said, like, the team was fine. I didn't. I obviously would have liked Henderson's drive in midfield, but I feel like James Milner could have filled that role well. And other than that, it was a typical starting 11, I think.
Yeah, it's odd because it sort of, if you look at that lineup, you'd think we were really going to go for it. And similarly, Arsenal put out a strong team as well. But the performance didn't really reflect that, I don't think. In terms of missing Trent, I think we are hugely missing him. I'm hoping he just didn't play because it wasn't... I think this is one of them games where, like, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah,
like, win or lose.
That's what I gathered.
Klopp will be... hopefully Klopp is just saving him and he will start the
apparently
season.
That's what it is.
Too wrong there.
Apparently it's just...
And
he is
same with
fine.
Henderson
they
as well.
just want to rest him as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the press conference, I sort of got the impression that it's not like he said, like, I don't recall him saying anything like, no, injury might be a few weeks. I think he said, like, everyone is currently training, but if they didn't play one of the pre-season games, they won't be playing, because I feel like he's literally just given them a rest. So, I mean, I feel like if it was a more important match and and it was super important, I feel like there would have been more names on the team sheet and on the bench today, but I feel like
as far as I'm aware,
it wasn't the be-all, send-all.
As far as I'm aware, the only one who was actually somewhat injured to a degree where they might not play is Oxlade-Chamberlain, apparently. But that was because he suffered an injury during training.
Well, yeah.
And
it's that knee again as well.
That bloody knee.
Although, just before we do move on
to
off the topic of missing Trent, I do think, obviously, there is an element, like we lost because there is an element of we are missing him in these games, but I also think there has been a lot of pressure added on to Neco since he did start that game, and he took off quite well. Like Klopp seems to have been playing him a lot more.
I mean, if we want to start looking at the run of play, we can bring up Neco Williams fairly early because, what was it? 12 minutes in, Aubameyang scores, and having seen it, I don't know, Craig, have you watched it back at all or?
No.
Right. Well, essentially,
I read the description and heard your reaction, and I've just been like, I don't want to look at it.
Neco Williams was hugely out of position, and
not marking
it was just a wide open channel, for Aubameyang to run into, and someone as experienced as Aubameyang is going to take absolute advantage of that all day. So, a little bit disappointing from him, in my opinion. And I know he's only young. I echo what Craig said. He is an absolute talent, and I just think maybe it was just people expect a little bit too much from him. Maybe at the moment, he is still very young.
That's what
I mean.
I know. Say.
I know that Trent's very young himself, but I mean Trent's maybe a once in a generation. Well, right back. I mean, we're comparing Neco to arguably the best right back in the world at the moment, who happens to be an incredibly young talent himself. I mean, it's very rare that you'll get someone at Trent's age that's as good as him.
Yeah.
I mean, they exist, but few and far between.
Just rare, yeah.
So, I know it's a mistake by an inexperienced young player who I'm sure will have
it's probably
a big future and have a much more important role to play in time. He'll get more games and he'll get over this. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Klopp will put his arm around him. He'll be okay.
I know he came off in the second half, but he still played the whole first half, and for going up against a striker's experience as Aubameyang, for him only to put one away, it's not like he had an awful game. It's just he did make that mistake, and it did lead to a goal, and that's the kind of thing you remember, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly.
So what were your two thoughts on the first half? Obviously, I didn't see it, but what was the general vibe?
Disappointing from a Liverpool perspective. Honestly, I feel like no one turned up. So Robbo played a hell of a game. Full 90 minutes. Robbo was phenomenal. There was a fair bit of tracking back from Milner. I think he played well, but generally, I don't remember seeing anything from Salah, Mane, or Firmino. I honestly, they could have been missing that whole game. Were they even on the pitch? I honestly just don't remember seeing much of them at all. I just feel like it was a very bland, lethargic performance across the board, really.
Yeah, it was a bit I even said it to our group chat. I just think people weren't giving it 100%, and I think there is just a general overall tiredness from the whole team because obviously the lack of break.
Yeah, I mean,
all sorts. But
they've not exactly had rest, and they've been apparently that training camp they did in Austria was pretty full on, and then obviously they played the friendlies, and apparently before the Salzburg game they were in one of them training camps, and then they that morning, and then they came out of that and straight into the game. So I think it has been pretty full on for them, and they've really had no break, and then they've come straight into this.
Surprised.
So tiredness is definitely going to be a factor, but I still feel like they could have given it a go, especially when they're putting that lineup out.
Yeah.
I would have expected a little bit more going forwards, but
although, I will say, fair play. I think Robbo, gave it as much as he could. I remember him a few times setting up a few chances. Yeah, he set up a few chances, especially at the first half. I remember So, fair play to him.
And nothing else really happened in the first half. It was
No, not really, no.
pretty bland game, to be honest.
In the first half, at least,
I don't
anyway.
even think... Yeah, I think... Am I right in saying they had 9 substitutions today? Like, they were allowed to make 9 substitutions?
Oh, I have no idea.
That I do not know, but that'd be funny.
I'm sure they were. I mean, they didn't. And there wasn't a single substitution in the first half, which is quite surprising.
Both teams
so
only used
we
4
might as well move on to
overall.
onto the second half, because nothing else really happened.
Yeah. So, actually, before we do get into the second half, during the half-time break, what were your kind of thoughts? What were you hoping that would change? Were you hoping for any substitutes? Were you hoping for any sort of, like, tactic change? Anything like that?
Not really, because I would have liked to have brought off Neco Williams and put Trent on, but he wasn't there, so that was impossible. And other than that, like, as much as I love Taki, when we haven't actually scored a goal yet, I want to keep the whole front three on.
Yeah.
Because you expect them to score when them 3 are out, and they didn't, which was disappointing. But yeah, so all I was hoping for going into the second half was a better performance from everyone, really.
Yeah.
I'm
I will
trying to
admit,
think, was there a...
I might have jinxed it. I did want Brewster to come on. Although, more on that later. But I was hoping that, considering his previous games, he scored 3 and 2. I was kind of hoping we'd see a second half appearance for Rhian Brewster, and he'd sort us out there. Didn't happen until much later on. But
I'm trying to think, did we have a centre-back on the bench?
Let me see. Just check
I think
this
we
line.
had, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Simicas.
Kumetio?
Simicas was there.
Simicas was there.
Yeah, well, left back.
I think Kumetio is centre back. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that
yeah,
correctly.
I guess he may have. I mean, granted,
Well,
that
just call him
probably would
Billy.
have been.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, maybe.
I don't think I've ever seen him play, to be honest.
Maybe it
He played
might
in
have
Salzburg,
been
I think.
a case of. I said, I presume what happened was Minamino came on, Fabinho went back into defence with Van Dijk, and Gomez went right back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that
it
is
looked
what
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, maybe they could have done that earlier. I mean, because it was quite clear.
I mean, yes,
Williams was...
but I feel like, again, going back to Williams, whenever Gomez is played in one of the fullback positions, he never really has a great game. It's not his position. And from what we've seen of Neco Williams, when he made his little appearances, we were all like, oh, this, he's great, and he's going to be a brilliant cover for Trent. So even though he wasn't having the best game, like, I don't know whether my solution to that would have been to put Gomez out there either, because I'm not particularly confident in Gomez playing there.
Oh no, I mean, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't know who else could have gone there.
I'll be the one that disagrees, and I will say I think that was the call to make, because I remember even saying to the group, there was another time when Neco did essentially the same thing and left Aubameyang with a lot of room and a lot of space, to which I think it was Xhaka crossed it to him, and they made a decent run back. And I just remember thinking, and I think this is probably what led him to getting taken off, to be honest. I remember just thinking, he's done it at the beginning, and he's done it now, and he's not learnt the lesson there from the first time round. So I think bringing Fabinho back and sticking Gomez on right back was probably, I wouldn't say the best. I wouldn't say it's the best solution, but it's probably an alright solution, considering he's probably just not in the zone for that match anyway. Although I just would like to clarify as well, in the second half, as Taki came on, Keita also did come on. Double sub.
I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised to see Keita, because I thought since the restart he was... I mean, I don't know how he's been in recent weeks, but I thought he's been looking as one of Liverpool's better players.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised he didn't start.
To a close.
I was surprised Milner has started above Keita. At least currently.
I mean, I think it's just a rest situation.
Yeah.
He's
Maybe.
been.
I mean,
he's
'cause-
probably been doing a lot of training. He
Yeah.
played a
Because
lot.
I feel like amongst that midfield of Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Milner, I can't see too much creativity and too much I can't see them picking out killer passes typically to
yeah,
the front three or linking up with them to create those chances. But if Naby was playing, I could see him doing driving runs and getting forward and helping out and bringing them into the game a bit more.
From what I've heard about the training camp and how it's gone, apparently Keita and Minamino have both been outstanding. And I feel like we have definitely seen that from
I've heard
Keita
that as
when
well.
he's played like pre-season. And Minamino, I've kind of been still waiting to see something from him. He's never bad, but
He never
he's never
normally
like blew
sticks
me away
out.
kind of thing. But then today when he came on, he absolutely changed the game. He flipped it on its head. He was phenomenal. To be
I
fair
was
to
so
him.
proud. I'll admit,
Yeah, and
I
he
was
got
so
that
proud.
goal
So
as well.
so proud of our boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, that was the game. I'm hoping that fills him with confidence as well, and he uses that.
Well, I say a few things.
He's needed it. Couldn't be happier for him. I have seen it go.
So he was brought on in the 59th minute. I think he was swapped for Milner. He was either swapped for Milner or Williams.
He was
One of the
actually
two.
It was a double sub.
It was a
yeah.
double sub,
It was a double sub.
and it wasn't like a direct change. Like they were swapping positions. It was like
No,
Yeah,
when Neco
it
Williams
was-
came off,
it was-
Gomez
it
moved
was-
into his position.
yeah, and then
It was a cheeky shuffle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, even after he came on, he seemed quite rare. So he was playing midfield, and I think he was playing like left centre mid, which isn't like I think you. Well, I mean, at the beginning of this, or at the middle of last season when he first came to Liverpool, I think when he was playing, that he was kind of playing in the mid area, centre mid area. But ever since like the restart, we've kind of seen him in more of like the centre forward striker role that Firmino is in, or maybe one of the wing positions. So it was a bit weird
I
seeing
think it
him
was
back
purely
in
because
mid.
it was purely because we hadn't scored a goal yet. I think Klopp didn't want to bring one on the front three. It was just like a throw everything we've got at them situation.
Yeah,
I mean that front three with Minamino and Keita behind them, I was expecting goals, to be honest. And we got one, but
Yeah, on the front three weren't really clicking really. It was to be fair, it was a fairly typical performance of this match doesn't really matter.
it kind of felt like that, but it also
Just sort
could have
of,
been
like,
excused
tired,
by like
just
the tiredness. Yeah,
Would rather not. Yeah. It was. I mean, granted, if they were tired, but it was like the Champions League final, they'd be playing out their skin. But
yeah.
I feel like it was tired and not really up for it.
yeah, you do have to be careful as well. You don't want to overcommit because if you pick up an injury pre-season, that's a bad time.
Yeah.
No one wants that. I think we'd all agree that
Looking at
you'd
you,
much
Ox.
rather lose the Community Shield than win it and pick up an injury for a starting 11.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Taki's goal, phenomenal performance by him. In terms of second half performances, I think
It was a bit dodgy though, wasn't
Robbo
it? Like,
again.
there was the call for VAR because they were afraid it was handball from
it
Salah.
wasn't dodgy at all though. It
If
didn't
anything-
go anywhere near his hand.
Yeah,
It was a ridiculous
looking
goal.
at the replay, it looked like it came off. I don't remember who the Arsenal defender was, but it looked like it actually came off their hand, if anything.
Probably David Luiz.
I think it might have been, to be honest. But
feel-
because Salah started claiming for handball, so it looked like it came off them. But then it doesn't matter anyway because rebound and Taki slotted it in. He was alert, switched on. That's what we like to see.
Okay. Would anyone like a fun fact? I don't know if anyone else has got this fun fact.
Sure.
Go on.
Minamino was the first Liverpool player to score his first goal for the first player to score his first goal for Liverpool at Wembley.
That's a pretty fun fact.
There you go.
Quite a grand stage. So
He did get one against, was it Blackburn Rovers? Like
Yeah,
just
that was a
before the
friendly.
restart. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, yeah. This is a glorified friendly, so
Yeah,
at least this is like this is labelled as at least something of an official match. It's definitely not. This was just a friendly. Yeah.
So, that pretty much wraps up the game. To be honest, for the 90 minutes.
We'll quickly run through some of the other substitutions because one surprised me.
Well, I was gonna just mention, Curtis Jones came on.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised about that.
I felt like we all questioned that because I said, is he a particularly? I mean, I know he scored. Was it the winning penalty against Arsenal, and was it maybe the league or the FA Cup early in the season? I can't remember which cup it was. But like, I've not heard of him being a renowned penalty taker. Like, I don't know if he's doing it for like the under-21s or whatever. But I was surprised because I was sat there thinking, surely Firmino, surely Bobby can play another 10 minutes. And like, if it comes to penalties, he's one of the more experienced people there. And I'm sat there going, like, even if he's not like a renowned penalty taker, I'm sat there going, I mean, you're a striker. You score from all sorts of angles all the time. So I mean, surely you're better than most at kicking the ball in. I would have hoped,
especially when it's in a situation like a penalty.
So
yeah, I just hope it's not like because obviously he had that poor run of form at Anfield last season. Hopefully, it's not something that's setting in with him and he's thinking about it and it's on his head. And maybe he said to Klopp, you know, don't let me take a penalty or something. I don't know, but which I hope it isn't though. But these things can weigh on your mind, I would imagine.
I hope it's not. I would like to think it's not as well. But...
Quite surprised. Then again, you don't typically see Mane step up for penalties either, do you?
Well, no, that surprised me as well.
Anyway,
I mentioned that when we.
Shall we come to Shall we? Oh, in that case, shall we put right? So
last substitution was made
like
purely as a penalty.
Last minute of the game.
Yeah,
Brewster was brought on, which again I questioned very much. I was like, really? I was like, especially for Wijnaldum, because Wijnaldum would have been one of the ones I would have wanted to take a penalty.
No, I did want Brewster to come on, but I did question why Ginny was taken off for it.
Like, bring Brewster on purely to take a penalty. I'm a bit like, it's well, I guess we'll come to it.
Yep.
So, do you want to take us through the penalties, James? If you got them, I'll try and find them.
Yeah, I've got them. So Mo Salah stepped up first. Put that away.
Pretty easy.
Pretty straightforward.
Good old
expect that from Mo, I would imagine. It was a classic little Mo penalty. He did his little side shuffle, which Craig is apparently terrified of.
Yeah. It's just different because it's like when Salah comes up and like he wants to take a penalty and it's just like you don't know where it's going to go. He likes approaching from his angles and he just tends to smash it somewhere. Like Milner is, well, calm as you like, Milner Van Dijk. He just like, you just know he's stepping up and he's placing this well and it's going in. Typically with Milner, but it's Salah goes some more power.
Absolutely, but Salah's is so powerful. I feel like even if they got a hand to it,
I was going to say he shoots them with a lot of power. So, if it gets a touch on it, it might go in from either deflection or it might just even go in just from the power of it.
So, what was it? So, up step Nelson for Arsenal. He put his in.
Yeah.
Then next came up Fabinho against someone that I would absolutely want on the list of penalty takers.
Yeah, so he takes penalties for internationally, doesn't he? So,
and he got a lot for.
He's very, very well versed.
Yeah, he got a lot from Monaco. I think he got all of his from Monaco
King,
actually. 17 out of 17, I think the stat was.
Yeah, he's absolutely someone I'd definitely want on the penalty list. Maitland-Niles.
Yeah. He's the next one.
He came next, slotted his penalty in. Then up stepped Brewster, who was brought on by Klopp purely to take a penalty. Yeah. Now you see, I'm a bit more annoyed
at Klopp.
in a way at Klopp over this, because
Yeah, no, I agree.
I really feel for it, because Brewster, I mean, if he went on loan and had quite a decent season for Swansea. He's like, he's another young talent. He showed that at Swansea when he was on loan. He's come back. We don't know what the future holds for him. Klopp mentioned, I think, echoed that yesterday in the pre-match conference. He said his future might be here, but we want him to develop. So whether he goes out on loan or not yet, he doesn't know yet. But to be brought on to bring on a young kid purely to take a penalty, I feel like, and to step up for that huge pressure on your shoulders, and a huge pressure for such a young player, and then for him to unfortunately hit the bar and miss, I feel like so many other more experienced players were on the pitch that could have taken that, and I feel like it just added, like, sending him on purely for the penalty just put more pressure on Brewster. And I feel like
I agree.
And I feel like at his age, I'm gutted for him, because he's gonna really feel
How
this
old
tonight.
is he?
And
Does anyone know?
I think he's 20. He was
20.
born in 2000. So I feel like he's gonna feel absolutely gutted
Yeah, that is
tonight.
that's gonna be horrible. Because
Because,
the thing is,
because I feel like
he's gonna look at that as like it was his penalty. He didn't get it. He was brought on specifically for that, and
I feel
had
like
this
being
rep
brought on
before
for it
this as
added
well.
the pressure.
Yeah.
And I feel like, based on like confidence, especially confidence at his age, I feel like it wasn't an ideal move. 'Cause, I mean, it was a gamble. It was a big gamble sending him on, because if it was like Milner that missed his penalty, he'd be gutted, and but like, I know tomorrow he'd be fine. If he took a penalty tomorrow, he'd be fine. He'd be completely over. But I feel like someone like Brewster at his age, like young, may be coming into the team this year, maybe going out on loan. I feel like that's just going to knock his confidence.
Yeah.
So I do feel for him there.
Yeah, I think it was purely just the issue of, because he came on specifically for the penalty, like, that was his first touch of the ball. He never even touched the ball in regular play. So like, it was literally like, come on, step up, take the penalty.
If he'd been on for like
Warmed
10
up a
minutes or
bit.
so, it just sent him on as like an attacking option, and then he just happened to be. I feel like there would have been a hell of a lot less pressure on him. But it's like he would have been staring at that ball thinking, I've been subbed on now at Wembley purely to take this spot kick.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it was so close as well. Like, it hit the bar.
It's not often. I mean, sometimes it happens, but it's not often someone has a worldie of a first touch, is it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, he hadn't even kicked the ball at this point. Like, I mean, like, I know a football's a football, but I would have thought you would have needed a little bit of a feel for it. I feel like he needed a bit of time on the ball.
And the thing is, as well, is it wasn't even like
step up.
dramatically off. Like, it wasn't wide or anything. Like, if it was a little bit lower, or maybe a little bit of a softer touch or something, it would have been in.
Like,
and it would have been a decent one as well, because he probably wouldn't have reached it. But it was just, I don't know, it was just too much for him, and I think
he probably just overthought it.
Yeah,
just a bit too much pressure.
I did think when he was stepping up to take it, I did think he looked very nervous.
No.
I mean, anyone would be in that position.
So then, along
David
came
Luiz.
Cedric for Arsenal, I think was next.
Oh yeah,
Cedric.
I missed.
Scored.
You're right.
Then our boy Taki, straight after his goal. I believe, I didn't see it, but apparently he absolutely thundered the ball into the goal.
Yeah, straight down the middle as well.
David Luiz, unfortunately, I feel like he's one of my least favourite footballers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was on.
I would definitely. I thought he's. I mean, it could be hit or miss with him. I mean, he has got a hell of a shot on him, to be fair, on occasion. But he's also known to calamity, so unfortunately he scored. Up stepped Curtis. Who. Well done, Curtis.
I was worried about his one. No, did you see it?
I mean, there would have been a fair bit of pressure on him at that point as well. Like, he had to score to keep them in it.
Did you see it though? Like the rest of the team had thundered them in, and I don't know if he was trying to do it or if it was nerves, but it was weaker than the rest of them.
I mean, that can be a tactic, taking a penalty. You don't have to thunder it in.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was planned or not, but I don't know.
It looked planned to me. It looked
weak.
He looked fairly comfortable.
Like it was maybe going a little bit further.
He took an extra step waited for the keeper to make a move and then he placed it rather than like smashing it.
And then, unfortunately, when you need someone to miss, if
I mean,
Aubameyang's coming up to the ball, that's a given, really. So unfortunately, it just did all come down to that Brewster hitting the crossbar. So Arsenal won on penalties.
I mean, I don't blame him for it. I don't blame him for it, but I did start to lose hope as soon as we missed the penalty from Brewster. But that could have been anyone.
I mean, everyone did.
If we missed, if it was anyone that missed, I would have started to lose hope. Yeah.
I mean, in a penalty shootout, if anyone misses, you immediately feel like, oh, this is it.
If someone blocks or misses, that's it. I think usually it's written off.
I do think I feel like Alisson was beaten a little bit too easily.
Although
he went the same way a lot, and
I think he did better than the other goalkeeper though. But there is a lot of skill difference probably between the two.
I mean, he didn't stop one, so
no.
I don't know. I feel like in every penalty, I want to say, he dived before the ball was struck. I know it's hard when you're trying to say a penalty. You kind of do have to make that decision, but I don't know. He just didn't seem to change it up for me. He went the same way the whole time, and I don't know. It felt like for someone who I consider to be one of, if not the best keepers in the world, it felt like he was beaten a little bit too easy. But it is what it is. It's only the Community Shield.
It's only a glorified friendly, so it's not too important. If anything, it's more of like get into shape before the season starts.
Do we
which we'll come to in a second. Yeah, do you want to do man of the match? I do. So, first of all, I've got two potential candidates. So we'll start with Minamino. Thought he came on, had an absolute phenomenal game for the time he spent on the pitch. Turned the game on its head, as I said. And obviously he got that goal. He got us back in the game, but he didn't play the full game. And there was someone who played the full 90 minutes who I thought was exceptional for the whole 90 minutes, and that was Andy Robertson. So I'm going to give my man of the match to Robbo.
Very good.
That's fair.
How do you feel, Jakey boy?
I do respect, obviously, like, I did forget about Andy Robertson.
You respect Elvis?
Full, I forget that he played the full 90 minutes, and I forget how many chances he created. Sadly, none of them obviously connected, but I think purely because Taki came on and had such a short time to make a statement and did so, I'll have to go with Taki.
I will. I mean, granted, I unfortunately didn't manage to get a view of the match, but based on what I've read, what I've heard, and for what he did, I'm going to go with Taki as well, because I've been rooting for him for such a long time, so I'm made up that he got his goal today, and I'm made up as well that he had a big impact. So good on him. Hope he has a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
Speaking of next season,
well, actually, just to confirm, the actual man of the match was Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, no one cares. Moving on.
Seth.
Moving on, I think it's 2 weeks away, I think. That's it.
I think it's 12th.
Starting matters up against Leeds at home, I believe.
Yep. So how do we used to start this off? Was it lineup first?
We used to do the lineup prediction first, yeah. So I've already got mine.
Holy moly.
I'll start.
This is quite difficult for when it's like 2 weeks away.
Also, we don't know like who's going to be still injured or not as well, so it's going to be very hit and miss with this one. But whatever.
All right. Well,
I reckon
to keep it simple.
Go on.
Keep it safe.
I was just going to say I think it'll be as strong a lineup as possible, basically, with it being the opening game. I know it's Leeds United, but it's the opening game, and you want to make a statement right off the bat, don't you?
Dirty Leeds. I
would say the regular back four. I'm going to assume Trent's back. Obviously, Alisson in goal.
Are you thinking
midfield,
Gomez or Mata?
I'm hoping Hendo's back
I
Go on,
reckon
mate.
because it's at home. Oh, go on. Sorry, this is your lineup. I'm getting it in. You go.
I'm hoping
Sounds-
that. Oh wait, are you gonna put Milner on? I didn't even think about Milner. Would they be in Leeds? Oof. Go on.
Jiminy cricket.
Nah.
Do
Right,
you want me to do mine?
If Hendo is fit, I think Hendo should play. To be honest, and then I'll say Wijnaldum and Fabinho. If Hendo's not fit, then it'll definitely be Milner that starts against Leeds, and then the regular front three. That's what I'll go with.
Alright, I'll do mine. So I did have the debate you said, where I was like, ooh, are they going to put Millie on? But then I thought, well, if Henderson's fit enough, which apparently he is, considering it's the first match of the season as well, I reckon they'll bring on Hendo. So I reckon it'll be the usual. I reckon it'll be usual back four, obviously Ali in goal, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Henderson, assuming obviously he's fit, and the usual forward three. But I did question if they were going to put Milner on first.
Craig?
I'm going to go with usual Alisson goal, usual back four. I think Trent will be back. Midfield, I'm going to go because it's at home. I reckon he's going to be a bit more attacking minded, and he'll play Henderson if he's fit. Fabinho in that holding rock role. Mixed up my words there, and I think he'll play Naby lad. Because I feel like at home it's not like a tough away game, so I feel like they can be a bit more attacking, and I think like he'll try to play him to unleash the regular front three a bit more. Are we going to go for scores?
Yep.
Yeah.
I am going to go with a 2-1 win to Liverpool. I reckon Salah's... No. I retract that statement. Mane's going to score. And Minamino's going to come on and bag another.
Interesting. It's very close to my prediction.
Okay.
Well, what is your
So-
prediction, James?
My prediction is 3-1 to Liverpool. And I predict Mane's going to score, Salah's going to score, and Minamino off the bench is going to score.
Very close. And Jakey boy?
Okay, so I also went with the 2-1 victory to Liverpool. And I said Mane first, so I'm also following this, standard.
Everyone thinks Mane's going to score first. We
Now-
love you, Mane. Not as much as much as Cara, but we.
As my second goal, I wrote down Wijnaldum originally. But I'm going to change it. I reckon...
Is that allowed? Are we allowing that?
Well, I haven't said it on the podcast yet. I've only written it down. After I state it on the
Go on.
podcast, I can't change
Go
it.
on.
I reckon Salah. So I reckon Mane Salah.
Okay. I mean,
Fair play.
that was quite a long pause for one of the most probable goal scorers.
Prolific goal scorers of Liverpool.
Well, I was making sure I was adamant.
I
I was making sure I was
wasn't
adamant with the
sure.
decision. I was making sure I was adamant because
I
was thinking.
feel like Aguero might score
I
at some
wanted
point
to
this
say
season.
Henderson. I wanted to say Henderson if he was fit, but then I think that's very specific. So I was like, nah, I'll stick
know what
with
would've been
the
crazy?
usual confident.
If you went with Thiago.
Yeah, it'll be a
Imagine.
4-0 and Thiago will score all of them. Job done. That would have been.
Right, well, I would say
Oh, brave.
tune in and find out our post thoughts on that Thiago debut hat-trick.
Yeah, so
Quad. Yeah, quad.
what date will... So, let's just confirm for them.
Are you confirming the date?
So viewers, that is on Saturday the 12th of September. Kickoff is 5:30, so keep an eye out for our thoughts on that match. going live not too long afterwards. If you don't want to miss it, be sure to hit subscribe. If you like our discussion about the match today, give us a like and give us a comment. And if you turn on notifications, you'll see when our video discussing
Smash
the
that
Liverpool
bell.
Leeds match goes live.
Absolutely.
So you can... So that's Saturday.
Tune in,
12th
see if we are
September,
right or if we
Liverpool
are
Leeds.
wrong.
Thanks for listening. Matt done
Yeah.
it.
Bye for now.
Janet.